Thank you. Thank you for taking my question. You said you're confident in Joe Biden on Tuesday here. I want to kind of ask you to look into the future a little bit on coronavirus, but other issues that could come up here. You always talk about your caucus and the beauty in the mix here. There's a lot of diverse opinions.
That's right.
Do you think, though, that that could be a problem, whether it be on coronavirus or some of these other legislative initiatives, environment, voting rights, John Lewis, those things, where it's pushed too far and that there is a schism between more moderates in your caucus and liberals, and what they intend to do, and why?
No, I don't. Our caucus has a beautiful array of thinking of generational, gender ID, ethnic background, geographic differences, and the rest. But the one thing that unites us is our commitment to America's working families. And that means our children, their health, their education, the economic security of their families, a clean, safe environment, including gun safety, in which they can thrive, in a world at peace, in which they can reach their fulfillment. So again, we don't, any of us want to lead or represent a caucus that is lockstep caucus. We invite the exuberances, the differences of opinion, and we do not see that as a problem. We see that as an invigoration. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Speaker, the economy grew at an annual rate of 33.1% in the third quarter. Does President Trump deserve any credit for that?
The CARES Act deserves credit for that. We had lost ground in the second quarter. This barely makes up for that. And the CARES Act deserves credit for injecting the resources into the economy, whether it's then in our subsequent CARES and the subsequent PPP. So it's as if somebody used an example this morning, as if you lost $100 in the second quarter, and now you're making up $65. Glory, hallelujah. No. And if we don't pass a recovery bill, a COVID-19 bill, that we will face dire circumstances as well. So yes, Congress and the administration work together in a bipartisan way to pass the CARES Act as well as subsequent legislation to inject resources into the economy. The lack of doing that this time is going to take us back down to another path. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. If you are correct that Joe Biden is going to be elected, you're still going to confront a balance of power with President Trump and a Republican Senate for the lame duck. Would that not argue for you to take a somewhat smaller bill that the system can produce in the lame duck and then get the rest when Biden is president?
This is not a small, we're not talking size, we're talking quality. And we are not going to take a small bill that has the bulk of reinforcing funds to the richest people in America while questioning the integrity of people on unemployment insurance. So I want a bill for two reasons. First and foremost, the American people need help. They need real help. And second of all, we have plenty of work to do in the Joe Biden administration. We're going to build the infrastructure of America in a green way. We're going to make sure health care is available to all Americans, lower the cost of prescription drugs. We're going to have HR 1 right off the bat be about cleaner government so that we can reduce the role of big, dark, special interest money that prevents us from having policies that the American people need and are have doubts that we can do unless we reduce the role of big dark money. And we have a number of bills that we have passed that we'll be ready for. Of course, this will be impacted by the Joe Biden agenda. His Build America Better is similar to our Moving America Forward, but nonetheless, we'll be working in between the White House and the Congress to get those jobs done. So we want to have as clean a slate as possible going into January. We will have to do more on the coronavirus to make sure that the vaccine, God willing, will be available, and that we'll take resources to make sure it's available to everyone, not just those in a position to pay for it. So yeah, no, why would we be talking to them if we didn't want a bill? other than our HEROES Act 3.4 billion, which is what the trillion, which the American people need.
They
But
say
I'm
you
not,
need to show more flexibility.
we're not going to go to anything like Mitch McConnell has. People are hungry. People on the verge of eviction. People need money in their pockets. We have enormous challenges there. They don't believe in governance. They don't like the public role in helping people, and they don't believe in science. So they ignore the recommendations of science for masking, for testing, tracing, treatment, separation, ventilation, sanitation. We are in a terrible place, and it was a decision. It was a decision made by this President of the United States. So we have to have enough money to address that, and we still haven't gotten the yes from the White House on that subject. So again, it has to be about the quality of what it is yet. It's not just something to say, we surrender. They surrender to the virus. We're not surrendering to
Madam
it.
Speaker?
Yes, sir.
How do you think about the increase in corporate taxes, given the state of the economy in a first couple months of the Biden, if there is a Biden presidency in the first couple months?
Well, why don't we wait until we win the election, we have our transition, and the President of the United States puts forth his agenda. I always have thought that when we do major tax policy, we should try to do it in his most bipartisan way possible. Contrary to the dark of night, speed of light passage of a bill that gave 83% of the benefits to the top 1% in our country, and then they reinforce that in the CARES Act in the dark of night as well. So it's not a question of having that discussion here. I think there's a large, quite an agreement that we should have brought down the corporate rate, but we should not have given away the store at the expense of America's working families. Okay, that's it. Thank you all very much.
As a Giants fan, what do you think about the Dodgers winning the World Series? Can you abide that?
I'm California, you know, so while the Giants first, I'm happy with it. I'm sad about the little confusion at the end there, but it was great. It was great to see. Lakers, Dodgers, I mean, yeah. But isn't it great to watch sports? Because it just takes your mind away. You forget your differences with other people. It's just like the arts. It's just therapeutic in that it not only entertains. And what I like about sports, it's about numbers. And I'm all about numbers. Whether it's elections or votes on the floor. But sadly, the numbers in this case, because of this president's failure, are so staggering and sad, and they compel us, it is imperative that we act on a different path than where the president has taken for the children. Thank you.